if you are new here, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe and turn on those post notifications. If you're already not new here, you're already subscribed, make sure you like this video, make sure you share to a friend, okay? Welcome back, TMOD squad. What is up? I hope everybody is having a great day today. So for today's video, I am going to rate and go through some of the best vampire shows of all time. I really love vampires. I am going to rate some of my favorite shows on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the best show ever. They need to make more seasons. Why did they ever end it? 1 being the worst. The worst. Why? Just why did they create it at this point? I don't want to butcher anybody's name, like any actors or actresses, so I am gonna go ahead and just say their first name, and if I don't know their last name, I'll just edit it in and just put it across the screen. Just put this out here for all of the shows that I'm going to list today. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm not gonna do the most, but look, if you haven't seen these shows and you're one of those people and you're like, oh, you're giving too much, you're doing too much, pause, go watch some of the shows, right? And then come back. Watch some of the shows, then come on back, okay? But if you're one of those people and, you know, you kind of get excited when other people are talking about shows, this is for you. Stay here because you're gonna find some good vampire shows, okay? A classic vampire show, the one, the only, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, okay? 7 seasons from 1997 to 2003. I feel like that deserved a clap, okay? You can watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Amazon Plus, Hulu Plus, Google Play, and on Vudu. And let's just get right into it. So the main characters, we have Buffy. Buffy is played by Sarah Gellar, and she did that. I mean, during its time, that show coming out being like one of the first vampire shows, giving it a 10, first of all, rating it a 10, it's a 10, it's a 10. It's a 10, okay? But anyway, so Buffy, who is the vampire slayer, she's out here slaying these vampires. She becomes the slayer. She's the chosen one, basically. She has a best friend. Her best friend's name is Willow. She's like this cute ginger redhead. She's nerdy, ends up becoming a witch. And she becomes one of my favorite characters because she's not the one or the two, okay? So I really like Willow a lot. And you have to watch the show. Next, we have Xander. That's also Buffy's close best friend, guy best friend. He is just a human, but he's always dating like non-human people. I mean, well, you're not a person because they're non-human, but you know what I mean, right? Xander is just really goofy, and he's like the big brother. Of course, he had a crush on Buffy, but she never wanted him. Yada, yada, yada. So, you know, how that story goes. And then we have Angel. You just gotta love the name. There is a vampire named Angel. Come on. His name is Angel. That's when they knew they hit gold, because his name is Vampire Demon, but his name's Angel. Make it make sense. It's just so great. So his name is Angel, and that character is played by David B. Falls in love with Buffy. Buffy falls in love with him. It's a forbidden love. They end up falling in love. Angel, what she likes about him is that he's a vampire with a soul. So Angel is very special. But then, dun dun dun, they fall in love. Something happens and he doesn't have a soul and he becomes evil. I mean, evil. I mean, Angel, you're evil. Then we have Cordelia Chase. So she's like one of the popular, like, pretty girls. She ends up dating Xander. And she has no powers or anything like that. Has no powers yet, at least not in Buffy, this show, because there is a spinoff and I will get into that. I listed her as a main character because I feel like Cordelia Chase is definitely a main character. I will say, I didn't talk about her, but my favorite like person that Xander dates in Buffy the Vampire Slayer is Anya. Anya, yes. Anya's probably one of my favorite characters. I think I said Willow is my favorite. But Anya takes the cake. She's like my favorite. Like, I feel like if I was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'd be like Anya. Then we have Spike. So Spike is another vampire. Spike is this cool, like, British, like spiky hair, white hair. He's just bad. And he ends up falling in love with Buffy. How they've described it, literally. He was just like, you know, nobody liked him. He was like a failed poet in his human life. Like, it's just so dramatic. Then he became bad. He met Drusilla. It's a whole story. Who is Drusilla, you're wondering? Go watch the show. Amazon Plus, Hulu Plus, Google Play, and Vudu. I think that's pretty much all the main characters in Buffy. There's other characters in the show that are introduced, but I just listed a few. There are 10, 7 seasons. None of the seasons disappointed. All of them are really, really good. And I really feel like the show, like the last season, they ended it so well. That's what I appreciate about the show, is that they ended it so well. It really touched upon like women empowerment and like, you know, women being stronger together and like everyone's a slayer type of thing, and you'll understand once you watch the show. A solid 10. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If you've seen any of these shows, go ahead and drop below in the comments on a scale 1 to 10 what you think it is. Next, I'm just gonna jump into the show. It's called Angel, and it's a spin-off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, okay? Angel and Buffy do not end up together. They break up, and he moves to California. He moves to California. And basically, it's just a show, like, from his point of view and his life. And it's so good. And I'm going to give it a solid 9. It was a really, really good show. Like, it was really good. Like, you know, at first it was shaky. Like, the first season, I was like, what are they trying to do? But then I think that, you know, they figured it out real quick, you know, and then it just became so good. Like, it became so good. And it's kind of like one of those things, like, if you've ever seen True Blood, which we will get into True Blood, it's another vampire show. That's like if they gave Eric Northman his own spin-off show. We're watching it because it's Eric Northman, where we want to see what he's doing in his life. Angel was a spin-off from 1999 to 2004, and it was 5 seasons. You can watch it on Hulu, and you can also watch it on Amazon Prime Video. So obviously Angel was the main character, and then Cordelia is also in the show from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She plays such a huge role in this show. And then there's Wesley. I don't know how I feel about Wesley. Wesley, played by Alexis. And, you know, he just basically is a backstabber. He's really annoying. He was getting on my nerves in the show. Sometimes you like him, sometimes you don't like him. He's just that kind of character. True Blood. So True Blood is one of my favorite shows ever, literally. It's one of the best vampire shows, series that had, you know, ever been created. Hands down. It came out in 2008 to 2014. It's 5 seasons. You can watch it on HBO. You can also watch it on Hulu. And it's a 10. It's a 10. It's up there with Buffy. It's a 10. It's a 10. Okay? It's a 10. But it's different from Buffy. Very, very different, obviously. It's so different, okay? It's for, you know, mature people, okay? True Blood is a wonderful show. The theme song is amazing. When you came in, the air went out. Like, it's just everything about it through and through. It's just amazing. And I can't even say like anything else about it. True Blood is literally the best show ever, and you should go watch it. There's a lot of main characters, holy moly. So I'm just gonna kind of go through them very quickly. First we have the main character, Sookie Stackhouse. She is 26 years old. She's a waitress. She's sweet. She's telepathic. She can read people's minds, and she can do a couple of other things too, cough cough, but you need to watch the show so you can see what else she can do. What I really appreciate about this show is the fact that usually when you watch a vampire show or vampire movies, the girls are always so young. Like, they're literally like 15, 17. What are we doing? And the vampires are so old. Like, what are we doing? But Sookie is 26. Has a job, has a car, very relatable, you know, just such a good show. And I really like that she was age appropriate to be dating all these men. Sookie Stackhouse is played by the one, the only, the myth and the legend, okay, Anna Paquin, okay. And we have Bill Compton. who is her love interest, the main love interest, played by Stephen Moyer. In real life, they actually got married and had children, and it's just so cute. I'm so happy for them. Bill, Bill, I love and I hate Bill. I love and I hate him. And I think Sookie loves and hates him too. But then in the end, she just loved him. So it's complicated, but you have to watch to see, because let's just say he's something. He's not honest. I'll tell you that. He's not truthful. Okay. Next we have Eric Northman, who is this Viking, god, this Viking god, basically. He's 6'6". I don't even know how tall he is. Long hair, Viking. Oh, he's so bad, but he's honest though. Eric is gonna tell you what it is, okay? And he owns a vampire bar called Fantasia, and he obviously falls in love with Sookie, Sookie, Eric, Bill, triangle. It's not even a triangle. They're what am I doing? They end up in a love triangle somehow. We also have Tara Thornton, played by Rutina Wesley. I really appreciate this character so much, because in a lot of vampire shows, there's not a lot of women of color in the shows, and Tara is a dark-skinned woman, and she's such a amazing character and adds so much to the show. And she goes through a transformation. If you get, that's a hint. She goes through a transformation, and she goes through many transformations actually, but there's many layers to her character, and each season we get a new Tara, and I really like that so much. And just like the first season, the first episode, Season 1, Episode 1, when she's working at Save a Bunch. I don't know, one of these grocery stores. She was working somewhere, and this lady comes up to her, the lady in the purple suit, comes up to her and is like, do you guys carry those things? And she was like, what things? And she's like, those things, you guys supposed to have everything. And Tara just read this lady her life. She was like, so you want me to tell you about something that we're carrying that you don't even remember the name of? It was just so good. And you love Tara. You're just gonna love her, period. Next we have Lafayette Reynolds, which is Tara's cousin. He is amazing. He's played by Nelson Ellis, and I do want to say rest in peace to Nelson Ellis, because he did pass away. His presence on the show, he made the show. I'm gonna say what it is. I'm just gonna say what it is. A lot of people made the show, but he made the show. I think every single person brought something unique to the show, and he brought something. I give you a little cocoa, if you know what I'm talking about, and you get that reference, then you're a real one. You're a real true bloodian, okay? I just made that word up, LOL. We have Jason Stackhouse, which is Sookie's brother. He's human. He's basically a floozy. If you don't know what a floozy is a gardening tool. If you don't, you'll see. Just watch it. But Jason is great. He has other layers than that, and he plays a significant role as well. All the characters are three-dimensional, and they all have their own lives and their own hopes and dreams and storylines, and that's what I love about True Blood. Everybody has their own storyline, and it's just great. It's not just based off of Sookie. It starts off that way, but then it becomes everybody gets their moment to shine in the show, and that's the wonderful thing about True Blood. And we have Sam Merlot. I love Sam. He's a shapeshifter, okay? He's so kind. Let's just say he's so kind, but if you try him, you're trying the wrong one. And that's all I'm gonna say about Sam. He just wants a normal, happy life, and he gets that in the end, which is really nice. He owns the restaurant Merlot's, where Sookie is a waitress at. So now we have Pam, who's played by Kristen, who is Eric Northman's progeny. A progeny is somebody who has been turned into a vampire. And it's they're everything to each other, everything. What is there to know about Pam? She's great. She's amazing. She's, she's loyal. She's extremely loyal to Eric. She plays a significant part, and she saves Tara's life. We love you for that, Pam. And I don't know, she just, you know, she's very bougie. Like, she's a bougie character. She has like her Chanel and all her name brands, and she's like, ooh, vintage Cartier, cool. Like, you know, and if you get that reference, you know, then you're a real one. Jessica Hamby, we love Jessica Hamby, played by Deborah Ann. And she was basically turned into a vampire against her will by Bill, Vampire Bill, because he had to save Sookie's life. They always saving Sookie's life, so you know, you watch the show and you'll just see, you know. My favorite character on the show is Hoyt Fortenberry. Hoyt is just so cute, played by Jim Perrick, and he is the love interest of Jessica. I mean, they fall in love. Their love story is so cute. I feel like it's kind of cuter than Sookie and Bill's cough. I mean, they're different love stories. Let's just say that they're different. Alcide, played by Joe. Alcide is a werewolf, and everybody loves him. He's not like my top 10 favorite. I mean, if I could be anything from True Blood, obviously I'd be a vampire, but I'd be a fairy. Did I just tell you guys that there are fairies? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna move on to the next show. Is The Strain. And that was originally, like, I think it's an FX original type of thing. It was from 2014 to 2017. It's 4 seasons. It's on Hulu, Apple TV, and on YouTube where you can watch it. And I just want to say before we get into it, if you've ever seen the movie Blade, the second movie, I feel that The Strain basically ripped off everything from Blade and made it into a show. But then eventually they got into the groove of it and they kind of made like The Strain their own thing. But they definitely were influenced by the Blade movie. In The Strain, there's these vampires and they have these long things that like stick out, and then the way they suck the blood and the way they like the insides change, like their organs change, and just all this stuff. It's very similar to Blade. Anyways, The Strain is really good, and let me just put that out there. I'm giving it a strong 8. It's a really good show. In The Strain, to become a vampire, first of all, these vampires are ugly. Like, they lose all their hair, they become bald, they got like sharp rat looking teeth. It's really dramatic. It's like this tiny worm, like when they're sucking your blood, this worm, if it gets on you, can go in your eye or into your body, and then you change, like you just change. But the main character, his name is Ephraim, and he is a scientist. He is divorced. He's just trying to be a good father to his son. Why did he get divorced from his wife? Something happened. Honestly, I can't even remember. I've seen the show so long ago, but something happened. That character is played by Corey Stoll, and he did a really good job. I'm not even gonna lie, he did a really good job. Next, we have Zach, who is his son, played by Max Charles. I'm just gonna be honest. This kid was annoying. In the show, he was doing too much, okay? Like, the way they developed his character, which was necessary to keep the show going and interesting, he just, first of all, like, he was just up and down. He was annoying. He was just disrespectful. Like, he went and joined the side of the bad guys at one point. Like, what are we doing? And he's, like, only 12, so that's all I'm gonna say about Zach. Next, we have Kelly, who was the mother. All she wanted to do was be a good mom, and she got turned into a vampire, y'all. Oh my God. It's a hot mess. Y'all gotta watch the show. We have the character David. I think his actor name is David Bradley, but I'll put it up here. He's basically this old dude who is trying to find the master. So the master is like the head vampire who's out here like making all these like little vampires running around New York City. The show is based in New York City, which is really cool. Which is really, really cool, actually. That's something I really like about the show. It's based in New York City. It's hard to make a show based in New York City. Usually when you have vampire shows, they're based in little, small, tiny towns because it's easier to control things, you know? But I like that it was like out of control and chaotic sometimes and in New York City. So that was pretty cool. And then we have one of my favorite characters. His name is Thomas, and he's a vampire. And I don't like his backstory. You've watched the show. I don't agree with his backstory, but what I like about him is that he's a vampire, but he's like the most human. Like he literally parades in a human costume. Like it's really crazy. He added something really good to the show. That is played by Kevin D. He's an exterminator, and he comes across these like vampires living in the tunnels. Not the tunnels, what is it? The sewers. And, you know, he becomes friends with the main character, and like, you know, everything just starts to go. It starts to snowball from there. It's a strong 8. So it's called Vampire Night, and it's an anime, okay? It is so good. I'm gonna say it loud and proud. I liked it. It was really good. I mean, it's a solid 9. There's only 2 seasons, which really stinks. I wish there was another season. It came out in 2008. You can watch it on Peacock and also on Netflix. It's the plot twist for me. I mean, this show has so many plot twists. I just love it. I try my best to pronounce everyone's name correctly. But basically, the main character, his name is Kaname Kuren. I love that name, Kaname. And that's played by, his character is played by Yasuke Kisho. And basically he's like a pureblood vampire. He's the vampire in charge. Definitely would be my crush of the show. He has powers, and he's just so beloved. Like, you know, if a vampire could have subjects, he has them, okay? And I don't want to give too much away, but he's just, you know, he's one of my favorites. We have Yuki Cross. So Yuki is the main character, played by the voice actor, played by Yoi Horii. So she's sweet and she's human. Cough, cough. This character we have, his name is Zero. And I really like Zero. That's played by Mamoru Miyano. He's like white hair, and he's just really cool, and he hates vampires because his family was slaughtered by a vampire. But there's like, remember plot twist? He's a twin brother. The twin brother comes back, y'all. Like, there's just so much. Oh, spoiler alert. Twin brother comes back. But there's just so much that happens in this show, and I do recommend you guys watching it. Plot twist, plot twist, plot twist, plot twist. So many plot twists that happen in the show in 2 seasons, and there should have been a 3rd season. There's a day class and there's a night class, and the show takes place at a university. The night class is obviously for vampires, and the day class is for like the humans. And Yuki and Zero, they're like knights, right? They're like, I think, yeah, am I saying this right? I think so. I think they're like protectors. They're supposed to make sure the vampires don't get out of control, but they're also protecting the vampires too. But you have to watch it. It's really, really good. And next we have Dracula. Dracula on Netflix. There's only 1 season so far. I hope there's a season 2. This show was so good. We deserve at least 3 seasons of Dracula. At least 3 seasons. I'm giving it a solid 10. It's a 10. It's a Dracula 3.0. It's so freaking good. Like, basically, it's like the original Count Dracula legend. And it's just like, the way that it was directed comes to the present time. It comes to 2020. Like, so it's from back in the day, like, you know, all those years, like the 1700s, 1500s, I don't know, 1400s, it goes back. And then it comes all the way back to like 2020. And it's just transition. That director, those writers, they did that. They did that. Really go too deep into it, but the main character, obviously Dracula, played by Claes Bang, he did such a good job. And that's all I'm gonna say. There's a lot of characters, but you guys need to watch it. My favorite characters from the show is Lucy, played by Lydia West. I really liked her character a lot. I liked her character, and she's in the present day. I'm gonna leave it at that, but we definitely deserve a season 2 and a season 3 of Dracula. The show is called Blood Plus. It's an anime show. It's a Japanese manga series, and it came out in 2005. There's 4 seasons. It's free. You can watch it for free on Tubi, Tubi. You can watch it for free. I'm giving it a 10. It's a 10. Basically, the main characters are Saya. She's the main character, played by Eri Kitamura. She's the only one who can slay vampires in the show. Then we have Haji, my crush. I like Haji a lot. Haji is played by Kasukuyuki. Yeah, I think I said that right. And then we have Diva. Okay, she really is a diva. Who is Saya's twin sister. She's evil. Let's just call her the big evil. The big evil. And when she appears, let me tell you, when she appears, she appears. They did that. This show is a 10. Ugh, it's a 10. It's a 10. And then we have Kai. Kai, I like Kai. Is Saya's foster brother. It's a whole thing, y'all. It's a whole thing. So basically, Saya is a young girl. She was adopted by her foster father, and she lives with her two foster brothers, Kai and Ruku. And I didn't really talk about the other brother. He's the older brother, anger issues, you know. But anyways, she has amnesia, and she has to go to the hospital to get these like blood transfusions very often. Why you always gotta go get a blood transfusion? What is it that you don't want nobody to know? I'm just kidding. She has amnesia, and basically she runs into Haji, who's like her vampire butler, and he wakes her up. He wakes her up with a kiss in his blood, basically. He wakes her up, and he's like, remember Simba, like, you know, remember Saya. And she starts to remember her past, and a lot happened to the Vampire Diaries. I'm gonna give the Vampire Diaries a solid 8. It's an 8, okay? There was 8 whole seasons. I feel salty. I feel salty that there was 8 whole seasons of Vampire Diaries. We deserved 8 whole seasons of True Blood. Vampire Diaries, they should have ended it like at season 6. When the main character, Nina D, one of the main characters, she plays Elena Gilbert. When she left the show, she leaves the show. Spoiler alert. They should have ended it. They should have ended it. It just became something so dramatic in the end. Vampire Diaries, you can watch it on Netflix, and you can also watch it on Apple TV. Elena Gilbert, played by Nina D. She is in a love triangle with Stefan Salvatore, played by Paul Wesley. He's like this vampire who's like trying to be good, and he's like addicted to blood. I mean, it's funny that they made him addicted to blood because he's a vampire, so, you know, he has to drink blood to survive. I mean, I guess he can drink animals' blood too, but like, you know, they basically made him an addict to blood. I'm so confused. Not confused, but I am confused. And he becomes evil. He becomes like a ripper. Like, that's the thing. I guess he rips people apart. And then the next character is Damon Salvatore, which is his brother. I like Damon. You know, I like Damon. And he's played by Ian Joseph. He's also a vampire, and Elena is in the love triangle with these two brothers. And that's just what it is. And just some backstory, like, on, you know, Damon and Stefan. Basically, when they returned, the person that turned them, her name is Catherine, also played by Nina D. This is my cat, Bo. Follow Bo at her Instagram at thatlovelycatbo. Oh, yeah. Back to what I was talking about in Vampire Diaries. So there's a love triangle. Back in the day, the person that turned them into a vampire, like in the 1800s, her name's Catherine. She looks exactly like Elena. There's just drama upon drama. We have Caroline Forbes, played by Candace King. I like Caroline's character, but she does become, spoiler alert, a vampire eventually. We have Bonnie Bennett. Come on, Bon. We got Bonnie Bennett, played by Kat Graham. She did such a great job. But she's a witch, and she's Elena's best friend, and I'm gonna leave it at that. There's so many characters. Called The Originals, and it's a spinoff from Vampire Diaries, and I'm going to give it a solid 9. Yes, it scored higher than Vampire Diaries because it was better than Vampire Diaries. You can watch it. There's 4 seasons. It came out in 2013. You can watch it on Netflix, and it's just so great. So basically, it's called The Originals because the show is about the original vampires. And this is what I really appreciate about the show. In most vampire shows, it's like vampires just appear out of thin air, and it's like, oh, it's magic, literally magic. But in this show, they give you context. They explain and show us, the audience, where vampires actually came from. And I really appreciate that a lot. And we're following around these original vampires. There's like a few of them. They're all siblings. The main character, his name is Niklaus, aka Klaus Michelson, and he's played by Joseph Morgan, also a hybrid. So he is a vampire werewolf. He's a hybrid. He's unique, he's special. And then we have Elijah Michelson. Elijah is his brother, and Elijah was definitely my man crush. I like Elijah. He's so dapper. Like, you know, he is the voice of reason, but he was still not the one. So that's why I really liked him. I have Haley, played by Phoebe Tonkin, and Haley is a werewolf. And spoiler alert, she has a baby with Klaus. I just have to say it. She has a baby with Klaus. The baby's name is Hope. There's a spin-off show called Legacies. I did watch Legacies, but I'm not here to talk about Legacies today. It's like the thing, like, that's not supposed to happen. Like, vampires are not supposed to have kids. Like, how is this even possible? You're dead, you know? But they made it possible anyway. So loopholes. Next we have Marcel, played by Charles Michael. And basically, when the original show starts off, they go back to New Orleans to, you know, lay down their roots. And Marcel is in charge. Marcel was created, turned vampire by Klaus, okay? And Marcel now, he is the head honcho. He has started from the bottom, now we're here. From the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, I'm the whole team here. That's literally Marcel, okay? That's literally Marcel. I love his character, and he is so fine. He is so cute. It's the smile for me. Next we have JoJo Bizarre Adventure. It's an anime, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. I've only seen season 1. I only know of this show because I have a younger brother who's a teenager. He told me about the show and I watched it. If you're a teenager between the ages of like 12 to 16, you probably have seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's 5 seasons. It's a Japanese manga series. It's on Netflix. I'm just gonna talk about season 1, so we're gonna get right into it. The main characters, Joseph Joestar is the main character. She's very wealthy, he has blue hair, he has a heart of gold, he's a good person. And then we have Dio, he's evil. He's evil. So basically, a long time ago, when there was like horse and carriage, Joseph Joestar's father, mother, and, you know, JoJo was in this carriage by horse. They're going, something happens. I don't know what happens, but something happened. And the horse carriage flips over and the baby was crying, aka JoJo. And then this thief, like this man and this woman comes, and they're just like the bottom of the barrel. Like, they're just not good people. They're literally the bottom of the barrel, scraping, okay? And they come and they're like, oh, look at these people. They were just in a bad accident. Let's rob them. Like, literally, this man, he got like these messed up teeth. He's like, let's rob them. So then he's about to rob them, but then JoJo's dad wakes up and he's like, oh, kind sir, you're trying to help me. Thank you so much. And the man's just like, oh, yes, I am trying to help you. So then, long story short, JoJo's dad thinks that this bad guy who's about to rob him is, because he thought he was dead, is trying to help him. And he was not trying to help him. And he was just, his father was very problematic. It was as clear as day. But anyways, so then, long story short, Dio is the son of the guy who tries to rob JoJo's dad and the mother and him. JoJo's dad says to Dio's father, we're gonna owe you for saving my life. So long and behold, years later, Dio's a teenager. He shows up on the door like, knock, knock. I'm here. You owe my dad a favor. He died. And JoJo knew. Joseph Joestar knew. He was like, this boy is evil. Dio like literally made his life like horrible, like just came for him all the time, took his friends, took his dignity, okay? He even took his girlfriend. I mean, he didn't take his girlfriend, but like there was this problematic scene, and it gets me so upset, where JoJo basically had a crush on this girl and they were kind of dating, young love, you know? They wanted to have like their first kiss. Dio comes over, grabs her, kisses her, and like, ha ha ha, you had your first kiss with me, ha ha ha. And then she goes over to the water and she starts cleaning her face. She's like, ugh, that was nasty, cleaning her face. And he's like, did you really just try to clean my kiss off? And he tries to attack her. Like, it's just, spoiler alert, by the way. JoJo is just like, I'm gonna pretend to be his friend. I'm gonna be cool with him until Dio tries to kill his father by poisoning him, by poisoning the dad. The dad got sick. And then Dio was like, I'm going to bring him medicine every day and be a good person. But he was really giving him poison the whole time. Dio, spoiler alert, killed his own father the same way by giving him poison. And then JoJo figures this out, and then they have this long beef. There's this weird mask that's in JoJo's house, and basically Dio puts on the mask and it kills him. I mean, first he goes to town and tries it on like some civilians, on other people, but eventually he puts it on himself. It kills him, turns him into a vampire, gives him strength, gives him all this stuff, and he goes to obviously try to kill JoJo because he wants to take him out. Does he take him out? Go and watch the show on Netflix and find out. But I'm just gonna rate like that one season that I've seen. I'm gonna give it an 8. It was good. I'm gonna give it an 8. I didn't talk about these other 2 shows because it's not necessary. But there's also this show called Vampires. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's on Netflix. It came out in 2020. There's only 1 season. Other show on Netflix is called View Wars. I'm gonna give that show an 8. It's on Netflix. 1 season, came out in 2020. It's starring Ian Joseph, who plays Damon in the Vampire Diaries, and it's very different. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is just my opinion on these TV shows, these vampire TV shows. I love vampires. If you love vampires, then that means you've seen these shows. If you haven't seen these shows, watch them. If there's any good shows, any good vampire shows that I have not mentioned, please drop it below in the comments so I can watch it and check it out for myself. I would really like to. Let me know what you're rating these shows if you have seen them. If you watch it, come back after you watch it, come back and then tell me what you give it and tell me who your favorite character is, you know, why not? But anyways, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, okay? Especially if you're a fellow vampire lover. We have to stick together, okay? We have to stick together. But anyways, I hope you have a great day and bye.